Hello, and thank you for listening to WRYAT, New Orleans' fifth-ranked public radio station. As always, we're broadcasting live from a prefabricated Home Depot shed located off of South Carrollton by the Popeyes.
The Boomer Zoomer movie review is about to begin in 3, 2, 1, action.
Hello, and welcome to the Boomer Zoomer Movie Review, the show where two generations come together to talk about all things movies. I'm a 21-year-old film critic named Zoomer.
And I'm Karen, a 62-year-old woman who's married to a film critic named Boomer.
And we
Boomer
love
loves his
movies. Hello, fellow film stans. As you could probably guess from the intro, Boomer is out for the time being because he's currently in the hospital with coronavirus for the third time. And he's receiving ventilator support in the ICU for the second time. This is all because he's been vaccinated 0 times. It's getting me in the feels a little bit, but I'll be joined today instead by his wife, Karen. Thank you for being here with us, Miss Karen.
And it's my pleasure to be here, Zoomer.
Before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that we here at the show are all sending Boomer our thoughts and prayers during this trying vibe check.
Oh, don't you worry about Boomer. He's already gone 2 rounds with this Chinese virus, and I'm sure he'll be back on his feet and using them to track dirt all over my new carpets again soon. And then I'll be the one to put him back in the hospital.
If nothing else, hopefully this experience will finally convince him to get the vaccine. Not just for himself, but also for you.
Well, that's up to Boomer. Not me, not the government, not the doctors who are paid to lie about how his condition has taken a turn for the worse.
His condition's taken a turn for the worse?
Well, it's his condition and his choice, and I don't want to violate his HIPAA by telling you more. But we've talked enough about Boomer. Lord knows I have. So let's get on with your little movie show. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City starts at 6.
Bet, my lady. Bet. I'm super excited you're here with us for this week's episode, Miss Karen, because we're finally going to cover one of my favorite film genres, the documentary. I personally selected 4 documentary features for us to view this episode. But before we get into those, I wanted to ask you, what experience have you had with the documentary genre?
Oh, I've watched a lot of documentaries they have on TV whenever Boomer's not watching another one of his movies. Like I said, right now I'm watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and I've seen others. Real Housewives of Orange County, Real Housewives of New York, Real Housewives of Atlanta.
No shade intended, Ms. Karen, but those are reality television shows.
Right. They're only a kind of documentary, but they're better because they're shorter and you can get them on TV instead of having to go to the theater with Boomer. Of course, it's not like going to the movies with Boomer is my idea of a romantic evening anyway. Would be nice if Boomer could stop watching Dinner with Andre and take me to dinner at Chez Andre every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Sure, but what I'm trying to say is documentaries and reality TV aren't really the same thing. Documentaries are nonfiction films that are designed to document reality primarily for purposes of education, instruction, or maintaining an historical record.
The Real Housewives shows do document reality. They're real people who are real housewives who live in real cities like Atlanta, Miami, and Potomac. And you know what? Sometimes when those ladies get into a disagreement, it gets real quick.
They don't serve any educational purposes, though, Miss Karen. You don't learn anything from watching them.
That's not true. From watching The Real Housewives of Potomac, I learned there was a real place called Potomac. It's actually in Maryland. Now, did you know that?
Yes, of course, but those shows are not documentary films because they show you where Potomac is, Miss Karen.
No need to get snippy with me just because I'm not a movie expert, Mr. Know-It-All. Not all of us can spend all our time watching little picture shows, you know? And you and Boomer, you're just 2 peas in a pod. I mean, my gracious. Even this pandemic couldn't keep the 2 of you out of the theaters. You're both exactly alike.
That is high key not the case, fam. I took the coronavirus seriously from the beginning. I self-quarantined, double mask, and social distance everywhere I went, and got vaccinated at the earliest opportunity. Meanwhile, Boomer's in the hospital with COVID for the third time in 2 years because he didn't do any of those things. We couldn't be more different, period.
Well, you sure both love your little movies. The only movie I can recall Boomer and I kind of liking was Breakfast at Tiffany's, but that's not a documentary, and that's what we're supposed to be here talking about today, aren't we, Zoomer?
Yes, we are. I'm sorry for getting shook, Miss Karen. We'll talk about the documentaries we watch now, okay?
Okay, Zoomer.
Oof, that sure hurts different coming from the other side.
What?
Nothing. The first documentary we'll be taking a look at today is 2006's An Inconvenient Truth, which follows former presidential candidate Al Gore on the lecture circuit as he attempts to bring the public's attention to the dangers of climate change and calls for immediate action to combat its deadly effects on our planet, a topic that's sadly still all too relevant 15 years later. What were your thoughts on An Inconvenient Truth, Karen?
Well, I thought inconvenient was the right word for this one, because the truth is nothing inconveniences me more than having to watch that loser Al Gore. Because the truth is nothing inconveniences me more than having to watch that loser Al Gore talk about anything.
I'm partially in agreement with you there, Karen. This documentary feels more concerned with doing PR for Al Gore than being an urgent mobilization against the very real threat of climate change. And the solutions presented quite clearly don't go far enough in 2021. Gore himself comes off as thirsty for clout, and as he was clearly still salty over taking the L in the election that was stolen from him by George W. Bush. Cringe.
And it's just so old and boring. When did you say this movie came out? 15 years ago? You could have only been... You couldn't have been more than 6.
I was exactly 6 years old then, yes.
And now you're an adult, and the Earth's still here. So it looks to me like Al Gore was wrong about it melting or whatever, just like he's been wrong about everything else in his life.
TBH, I wouldn't say that.
Listen, the only inconvenient truth is that I was going through menopause back in 2006 when the movie came out. And if I can get through all those hot flashes, then so can the Earth. Next movie.
Bit of a yikes there, Karen. All scientific evidence shows that climate change, much like COVID, is real. And if we don't combat either, we're going to...
Next movie, Zoomer. I'm not like Al Gore. I don't have a lot of time to waste. Hop on to it.
Whatever you say, Ms. Karen. The next film is the 2002 Academy Award winner for Best Documentary Feature, Bowling for Columbine. Directed by Michael Moore, this documentary tackles America's history with violence and tries to get to the root of why we're all so extra about our guns.
Having to watch this Michael Moore after that Al Gore made this Real Housewife of Boomer sick to her stomach. Boomer keeps guns around the house, and yeah, maybe he leaves the safety off him every now and then, but he's never used them to do a mass shooting. So where does that Michael moron get the idea to go on Fox News and lecture me about how to live my life? He probably doesn't even go to church.
While I do think there's something to be said for boomers, America's approach to safety, or lack thereof, the story of our country's astonishingly high crime rate and all the needless deaths guns have caused, isn't really Michael Moore's story to tell, considering his status as a cis white male. Not your space, my guy.
If he has a cyst, he should go to the doctor and get that taken care of.
So now you trust doctors?
The pimple popper ones don't lie. That Michael Moron sure does, though. And when he actually does tell the truth, it makes it all sound so negative. Of course our country has higher crime than other countries. It's a big country. That's why we have the police.
Well, Miss Karen, sometimes the truth can be, like my latest COVID test, negative. But I'm glad you brought up the police because that sets up one fire seg into our next documentary, the 1988 Errol Morris classic, The Thin Blue Line, a film about the trial and wrongful conviction of Randall Dale Adams for the murder of a Texas police officer. This documentary is most famous for spilling the tea in our mythical protective police force and ultimately resulted in Adams being released from prison after spending 12 years locked up for a crime he didn't commit.
Oh, it just all makes me so sad.
Big same for the big sad, Miss Karen, especially after the past year brought so much attention to all the ways our law enforcement system has failed and continues to fail our most vulnerable.
No, it's not that. It's just sad that all of that good police work those cops did was all for nothing because of this silly movie. These men and women put their lives on the line for us every day, and this is how we repay them?
Repay them? We shouldn't even be paying them in the first place. This film, more than any, shows the true value of the documentary form. It got an innocent man freed from prison, FFS. If anything, we should be defunding the police so we can use that money to make more documentaries that expose their corruption instead.
See, if this Errol Flynn gets to have his own documentary about the police and he's not a cop, then I think we should let the police make their own documentary about what their job is like those pimple popper doctors. I watch their little documentaries on my phone all the time, sometimes even at the movies with Boomer when I get bored. Oh, and you can bet that he doesn't like when I do that.
Well, you shouldn't do that, Miss Karen. Every time I see someone take out their phone in a movie theater, I have to resist the urge to take it from them and yeet it into the nearest garbage can. Of course, I respect everyone's personal space and our social distancing guidelines too much to actually consider doing that, but,
Are you kidding me? Your generation's playing on your little phones more than anybody. Oh, watching you get all worked up about him reminds me so much of Booma.
I'm not getting worked up.
Okay, Zuma.
Just, fine. Our last documentary is 2005's Grizzly Man, directed by Werner Herzog. It chronicles the life of a bear simp who decided to go live among wild bears in a national park, dragged his bay along with him, ignored every warning from park rangers and bear experts around him. Also, he could recklessly pursue his own selfish goal, which ultimately resulted in getting himself and his bay killed by COVID. I mean bears. I meant bears. Now, that reminds me so much of someone I know too, Karen. Does it remind you of anyone?
Not really. I didn't like this one so much, but I never really cared for bears. I'm more of a cat person. Of course, Boomer's allergic to cats, so we don't have one. It could kill him, you know?
All right, film fan, I'm out. Thanks again for joining us, Karen. I hope Boomer's back soon. In the meantime, I want you all to try and remember YOLO, so please get vaccinated.
That's it? You're gonna just cut things off like that? These people don't want to hear about vaccines. They want to hear about movies. I have to say, not very professional, Zoomer. Can I speak to your manager?
Please don't say that.
This has been the Boomer Zoomer Movie Review.
Where am I?
You passed away, my son. It's time for your funeral.
I'm dead? Oh no, but my family.
Fear not, for your family has put your funeral into good hands at Abraham Family Funeral Services.
Will they put my body in a good coffin?
The best.
Will there be free parking for my family and friends?
The freest.
Will there be a beautiful woman to sing to my corpse?
None other than Gail Abraham herself.
I will sing as they carry your body away.
I just want to make sure my funeral is well taken care of.
Thanks, God. I'll take it from here. Hi, I'm Gene Abraham, and along with my wife Gail, we will take care of your dead loved ones. Besides singing to the body every night, my wife will even do the makeup. And have no fears, because we personally test every coffin before your loved one ever goes inside. Our mission is to make your family funeral one that no one will ever forget. My nephew even has a closet full of costumes to make that procession happy or somber. And we take great pains to make sure you can no longer smell any chemicals.
At Abraham funerals, you will sleep knowing that my husband and I tested your coffin.
I watched them do it.
Hey everybody, how you doing? We gotta talk about death today. It's not a real fun thing for me, because I lost a lot of people in the last year. Oh my goodness, I can't really give fun calendars. Not only people, but venues have closed down. But I'm gonna spend some time and talk about a few bands that I'm gonna miss. Real big sadness is coming through my voice. Here we go. First off, Erica the Vi Queen. She was brutal. I don't even understand her music. She just banged on metal. It was so incredible. And she always was nice, and she'd write you a poem. Second person I'm gonna miss, and by person, I guess I mean band, because it was Flip Farm Flam, and they were a family band, and they were so good. They would stand on each other's shoulders and play each other's instruments. I just didn't understand how that was physically possible. Third band I gotta say goodbye to, everybody's favorite, Got Milkshake. They brought all them boys to the yard, no lie, because they honestly were a taxi cab, Uber, Lyft before any of those things were made. They would bring people to the shows and then take them away. No one ever saw the other bands play because they put them in a car. They were great. Third, that was the third. I guess we're gonna go with the fourth. The fourth is a clock broke apple. Now they were real crazy and they dressed up and they had like makeup on and people didn't really care for them because they just kept doing like humpy things and made people real uncomfortable and they were like always drinking milk. But let me just say, that does the body good. Now they're dead. How good is it gonna do to them? Milk doesn't matter when you're dead. Oh my goodness. All right, I just gotta go into the last one. I'm not even gonna do the other two that I wanted to because, I mean, how can you talk about 10,000 Cobainiacs? What can you say about them? Move on. Dishonor, Dahmers, and Dinosaurs? Nobody cares about them. So I guess the last band I really want to talk about that we'll never ever see again is Amateur Human. Like, they made you wonder, like, am I actually at a show? What am I watching? Is this music? Or is that just machinery? Is that like a hum of like a fan in like that's kind of like not really attached to the AC correctly? And then you're like, oh no, that was incredible. How much do I owe? And then you pay your tab and you leave. And you try to tell people about it, and then they never play for 2 years. And then all of a sudden they play for a week, and then they never play for 2 years. Well, guess what? They're never playing again. Because the person is actually dead. His name was Carl, and for a while, I used to live next to Carl. Carl was my old landlord who wouldn't give me my Garfield phone when he kicked me out because I didn't pay the rent because COVID was coming and we had to quarantine. Remember that? Remember how nobody knew where I was? Well, Carl, you amateur human, give it up to you. Rest in pieces, buddy. Like, I hope they put you in a coffin in a bunch of different pieces. All right, everybody. Well, that's who you're never going to see again in the seasons of music. That's our life. That's our love, and that's our laughter. To the after. All right, I just made up that rhyme. Somebody write that down. I think it's pretty good. How?
There's more to our world than what we see. There's a world beyond. And two ghost hunters recently graduated from Tulane University are here to find those that lie in that unearthly realm. Those that have transcended their mortal coils and trash talk the hell out of them. This is Ghost Roast.
Hey folks, this is Chad the Ghost Hunter.
And I'm Zach the Ghost Hunter.
And tonight we're going to make some booty calls with extra emphasis on the boo.
That's right, brohams and broharriets. Like always, we're going to try to summon some ghosties through the fine art of incel comedy. But the problem is, as we're recording this, we're stuck in our uptown condo waiting for Hurricane Ida to come through.
Drinking some brewskis to wait out the storm ski. Or raspberry Smirnoff Ice anyway.
Now, we usually travel somewhere special that a collection of ghosts might have an earthly connection to. But since we've never actually summoned any ghost other than Jefferson Parish Sheriff Harry Lee,
that damn ghost pig,
we're going to try something different tonight. And maybe Harry Lee won't stop us on account of us just bothering a very small, very specific group of ghosts.
And if that undead sheriff does come around again, I'm going to tell him blue lives matter, but boo lives don't have matter.
Okay. Chilled on the boo puns, bro-chi min.
My bad, Fidel Cast, bro.
No worries, Francisc bro, Frank bro. So, back to what I was saying. Tonight we're going to just focus on one particular grouping of ghosts.
Oh, we could call them a barrel of spirits, or like the angel share or something.
Or haunting of spooks or a fright of specters. I don't think there's an official collective noun for ghosts, but regardless, tonight we're going to try to segment and hyper-target. That's something I learned in that intro to marketing class, bro.
Love an easy A, dude. But what are you thinking specifically?
Well, you know how Netflix has all those old garbage sitcoms since no one wants to chill with a chick during something they actually want to watch?
Yeah, that's a perfect hookup content.
I figure we can just thumb through those for dead people and then try to summon them.
I'm down. Let's pop our collars and collar some poltergeist.
Bet, cuz. Let me just switch on the electromagnetic field detector my dad got us. And we can get those EMFs from all the ghost tears we're gonna cause.
The boo-hoos, dude.
Bro, for real?
Sorry, my bad. I got carried away.
Anyway, looking through this Netflix list, we have Mork and Mindy. Hey, what do you say we do Robin Williams first?
I say,
Oh, yeah, that would be fantastic, wonderful.
Oh, fantastic, wonderful, yes. Circumcision joke, gay voice. Scottish voice, gay voice. Preacher voice, gay voice. Stolen George Carlin joke, oh.
man, that dude got away with stealing a lot of material from a lot of people. He's like the Bernie Madoff of dick and fart jokes.
Robin Williams stole more art than the Nazis, and he relied more on Jewish stereotypes, too.
Hey, Zach, do you think Robin Williams is like in heaven stealing Jesus's go-to parables? Do you think like Mother Teresa gets pissed when he does her tight five on feeding the poor in a casually racist accent right in front of her face?
Nah, I think Robin Williams is in hell, imitating Julia Child's voice while banging all the damned with his hairy herpes-covered schlong.
Whoa, dude, slow your roll. You're gonna get his estate after us.
Nah, bro, that guy settled out of court for $6 million after getting sued by the cocktail waitress he cheated on his wife with, and genital blisters don't fall in the area of he said, she said. That guy totally had herpes.
We still shouldn't talk about it because I feel like that's a sore subject.
Ah, Jesus, Chad. Well, at least you're not doing boo puns anymore.
Okay, you got me. But how about this one? All in the Family's on here. All those people have to be dead, right? Or am I thinking about that just because Sally Struthers looks like a corpse with an abdominal bloat?
I don't know anything about All in the Family other than Archie Bunker's a poor man's A.R. Cartman. Hell, Cartman was even better at giving shit to Rob Reiner.
Yeah, all that show did was make baby boomers feel like their awful prejudices were better than their parents' exact same awful prejudices. Let's move on. How about the Dick Van Dyke Show?
Nah, he's still alive.
Really? How? He's like a sitcom star from back when people used to watch them by turning a hand crank.
I'm pretty sure old Dick uses chitty chitty bang bang money to buy a Lazarus pit.
Oh, dude, I know a TV star that's definitely dead. How about Lassie?
Oh yeah, let's roast that bitch. I'd love to see a ghost pupper getting the zoomies up in here.
Hey, Lassie, come here, girl. That is, if you're not too busy being the only reason why some dumbass white kid makes it to adulthood. What are you doing? Busy saving Timmy after he fell in a well?
Are you busy saving Timmy after he's been cornered by a wildcat?
Are you busy saving Timmy after he got his head stuck in a currently inhabited fishbowl?
Are you busy saving Timmy from early onset diabetes?
Are you busy saving Timmy after he got the mayor's daughter pregnant?
Are you busy saving Timmy after he dodged the draft to join the communist menace?
Are you busy saving Timmy after he got the mayor's wife pregnant?
Are you busy saving Timmy after he signed up for a reverse mortgage and wired all the funds to a foreign country to pay for an expired car warranty?
Man, this is just starting to feel like a roast of Timmy.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Hey, Lassie, why the long face? Oh, wait, it's because your show ran for 19 years and the actual name of your show should have been 9 Separate Dogs Die in the Public Spotlight and No One Can Tell the Difference.
Oh, dude, I just thought of a great source of dead people.
What's that?
Golden Girls.
Oh, yeah, you're totally right. 3 of the 4 Golden Girls have bit the dust, and Betty White is the equivalent of sentient dust herself, so I consider them all dead. Oh, let's do the song.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for meeting your ends.
Died of lung cancer and a brain hemorrhage.
Your lives are gone, and we hope you just want to haunt. Dude, one day I hope we're a bunch of horny elderly women living in a house together.
Yeah, Estelle Getty. Wait, what?
Bro, look, the EMF meter is going crazy.
Oh, wow. Wait, but like, what were you saying about us being like older elderly women together?
Stop messing with my afterlife.
Whoa, it's Sheriff Harry Lee, the most popular sheriff in Jefferson Parish history.
What can I do for you, Sheriff?
You two boys need to shut up. You're disturbing the peace for me and my fellow ghosts.
Hey, listen, old man. We don't have to follow your rules. What gives you the right to tell the living what to do?
Listen here, punk. I told you. If I heard you disturbing the peace of us ghosts, I'm coming for you. I told you I'm bringing all the spirits of all the nutria that I killed in my lifetime to get you.
Mr. Lee, we sincerely apologize. I know we keep on doing this, but it's just in good fun. We're not hurting anyone. Isn't there a way we can come to a compromise? My dad is pretty rich.
You Tulane boys think everything's about money. It's not. This is your last and final warning. Now, if you excuse me, I have to resume playing trivia with my afterlife trivia team. George Washington Carver keeps insisting that every answer involves the peanut.
Dude, I don't care what Sheriff Harry Lee says. I don't want to stop this. This is just too much fun, bro.
I mean, I'm with you, but Harry Lee is on us no matter what we do. Let's chug these Smirnoff Ices and come up with a way to get around that.
Will Zach and Chad be able to rag on more dead celebrities without being stopped by Sheriff Harry Lee? Find out on the next episode of Ghost Roast.
We now pause this programming for station identification and remind you that you are tuned in to WRYAT New Orleans Radio. Learn more about our programming online at WRYATradio.com and follow us on Instagram at WRYAT Radio. As always, you can listen to this and previous radio broadcasts on Spotify or anywhere else you download or stream podcasts. Thank you for tuning in to WRYAT New Orleans Guerrilla Radio.
Boils all over the skin. Boils all over the skin. The skin.
Wish you had that gargoyle right now.
Oh, death. We're surrounded by it.
Just sadness.
Coming up next on WRYAT, Fleur de Lily Fashion Files.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to a very special Fleur de Lily Fashion Files. I'm Lily, your resident expert on all things fashion here in NOLA, and as y'all know, I sometimes talk about lifestyles and culture here, and today I'm going to expand on that topic a bit by talking about the end of every lifestyle, which is the death style. And no, I'm not talking about cute ideas for your funeral, but I do have some thoughts on that as well. As y'all know, I'm a Christian, so I don't see death as the end of life, but the beginning of our heavenly afterlife with Jesus and the Lord. Therefore, when someone dies, I don't see it as a sad thing, even though those that they left behind may be sad. It just means that God called them home a little sooner to begin their heavenly afterlife. I think this applies to the very young as well as the very old. So I had some personal experience in this field recently that opened my eyes not only to the complexities of life and death, but also to the way an unjust society can strip you of your liberties and deprive you of your right to live your life, which, if you think about it, is like being murdered by the state and forced to live your afterlife here on earth instead of in the kingdom of heaven, which I think is wrong. My recent experience with death came when I was out driving Doug's 2021 custom lifted 4X4 Dodge Ram in New Orleans the other night. I had to go to Target on Vets, which was real urgent because they had these shoes that I loved and I had a coupon. Now, I was already on edge because I was driving alone in the big city after dark. My windows were rolled up, my doors were locked, and my pepper spray was in reaching distance within my purse. I was stopped at a light when a man on the street corner began to approach me, and let me say that he had a beard and a beanie on, so I was already questioning his motives. He made a gesture toward me with his arm. It was like a wave, but more sinister. He was brandishing what I thought was a gun, but I was later told was actually a spray bottle and a rag. He came up to my window, and I reached from my purse for my pepper spray, and I guess he thought maybe I was getting him some money, so he approached the front of the truck and pointed what I was told was a spray bottle at me through the windshield, and I guess my instinct just took over. I knew I had to act quickly to save my life, so I closed my eyes, prayed a little prayer, and hit the accelerator.
I honestly couldn't tell y'all what happened next, because all I remember was being back at home in Madisonville after that. Doug was asking me why there was blood all over the front of his Ram, and I had to tell him I didn't know. I was traumatized. Maybe I hit a squirrel or something, and he needed to stop harassing me. Next thing I know, the boys in blue, Madisonville's finest, were at my front door. They told me I had done a hit and run, and I was under arrest for vehicular manslaughter, whatever that means. Big Brother had caught the whole thing on one of his surveillance state traffic light cameras that the mayor of New Orleans promised to get rid of. But of course she didn't, because like all commies, she's a liar. So anyway, I ended up having the most traumatic night of my life, where I had to spend the night in a jail cell with a woman who had tattoos. I don't think it needs to be said that this was a grave injustice that was perpetrated on me. Somehow I made it through the night, and the next morning I went before a judge who told me that I would be sentenced to probation, which is basically stealing my life away for something that wasn't my fault. So now I finally understand what all those activists are talking about when they say the prison system is corrupt. I have to meet with my PO once per week, and she says I have to get a job, which means for me, I gotta do much more blogging and podcasting, which is hard on me. And they want me to write a letter to the man's children saying I'm sorry, which I don't think I should have to do, because first of all, it was self-defense, and second of all, when you think about it, he was homeless and his life was pretty worthless anyway, so I did him a favor by setting his spirit free so he could be with the Lord in his ultimate home, heaven. Unless, of course, he was an atheist or a sinner, in which case he's burning in hell as we speak. So I guess what I learned is that death comes in many forms. When our earthly bodies die, death is ultimately the best possible outcome for us Christians, because we get to be with the Lord. But a worse kind of death is the death of liberty, and that's what happens when our justice system unfairly maligns oppressed people like me. And to be truthful, beautiful white women are underrepresented in the prison system because many of us don't have the natural temperament for crime, so that when the justice system encounters one of us, they feel like they need to make an example out of us and punish us unduly for our perceived transgressions. But, as my PO says, only a judge can judge me. Now, I'm not advocating for questioning the system too much, because 99% of the time, the cops get the right guy, and we should back the thin blue line. I'm just saying that based on my experience, discrimination does exist within the justice system. And I hope that by speaking my truth, we can shed some light in these dark corners so that it never happens again. But I know what I saw that night, and I've never needed glasses, y'all. I guess in this instance, justice was blind. This has been Fleur de Lis Fashion Files with me, Lily. Tune in next week for my tips on the perfect fall home fragrances you can DIY in your kitchen. See you next time.
Anita Johnson, it's your death day. That's right, Anita. And for your funeral at Good Grief's Pizza Place in Mortuary, you'll get a big, delicious death day cake delivered to your family with some pizza, a few party hats for you and your hungry, grieving family, and a special Death Day gift delivered personally by Fun Earl, the earthworm himself.
That's me.
But wait, Anita, that's not all. Your family will have a Death Day song just for them, performed by the one and only Funeral Pizza Pyre Explosion. Pretty neat. Wait a week as we bake your edible plates, huh?
At Good Griefs, we make funerals, and we make funerals funerals.
Welcome back, team. Brian TBD here with No Sports, and today I will be continuing on our 3-part expose into the inner workings of the local horse racing industry. But for those that missed part 1, let's get you up to speed. In our last episode, I joined Stable Master Rick at the New Orleans racetrack for some truly unique hands-on experiences. After getting to know Rick, as well as some of the championship steeds, I was honored to be asked to assist in one of the more lucrative aspects of horse racing, known as artificial insemination. However, due to expedited exhaustion as well as my inexperience with such undertakings, I was unfortunately unable to complete the task at hand. in a timely manner. But no worries, team, as the day was still young with plenty more to do around the track. Let's see what Rick has up his sleeve for us in part 2 of our no sports journey into horse racing. Enjoy!
We're sorry you had to see that, folks. We recommend those with a weak stomach avert their eyes from the racetrack.
Sounds like another race just wrapped up, eh, Rick?
You could say that.
So what's next on the agenda?
Well, unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have to liquidate one of our horses.
Ah, yes. Surely these beautiful beasts will enjoy some liquids after an intense race. Should I go grab one of the buckets from the stable?
I like your ambition, kid. You got moxie. But those assholes down at PETA would throw a fit if we drowned them like that. Heard it's quite a traumatic way to go.
Oh, I don't think I understand.
Looks like they got the tent all set up. No sense in letting him suffer. Come on, follow me.
I proceeded to follow Rick to what looked like a tailgating tent that had been set up right in the middle of the racetrack.
You ready, kid?
Absolutely. Ready for what?
All right, come on in.
Oh my God, what happened to him?
Snapped his leg in the middle of the race. Damn shame. I like this one.
So what do we do? Is there like a vet on the way? Do we need to like tranquilize it or something?
By the time a horse doctor got here, old Philip Seymour Makemore would already be dead from the pain. And since he clearly ain't gonna be racing again, he just ain't worth the tranquilizer it would take to calm him down at this point.
Well, we have to do something.
Agreed. Here, take a this.
What's this?
It's a 38 special my father gave to me before his passing.
Okay, it's a gun, but what's going on?
Hey, you wanted to see what this industry was really like, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't want to fucking shoot a horse.
Well, putting a horse down is one of the hardest things every real stable master has had to deal with at any track that's worth a damn, I tell you.
I'm sorry, but I just don't think I can do this. I'm not even sure if it's legal.
Course it's legal. His owner signed a waiver in the event of such occurrences. Hell, it'd be cheaper for him to just buy a new horse than rehabilitate this one.
I meant legal to do like on the radio.
Ah, bullshit. It's time to knuckle up, Buttercup, because the longer you wait, the more Philip suffers.
All right. As I held the gun to Philip Seymour Makemore's head, I couldn't help but make eye contact with him. We shared a brief moment, and in that short instance, I knew this was something I just couldn't do to another living creature. A creature that only knew racing and would clearly know nothing of life outside of it. I held my composure as long as I could, hoping that my morals would fade just long enough for me to do what I knew what was best, but still oh so painful. Okay, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I just can't do it.
God damn it! What the hell is wrong with you, boy?
I can't shoot him. I just cannot shoot Philip.
And why not, Mr. Sportsman?
Because it would be in poor sportsmanship to kill a wounded animal that I didn't hunt. It goes against my good sportsmanship morals.
Fine. Give me the gun. If you can't handle pulling a trigger, then maybe you need another date with Uptown Poor Boy.
Oh, God damn it. Fine. Anything but this.
Great. Now get those juicy little hands back to that stable. And don't forget the gloves this time.
And so with a heavy heart over yet another incomplete task, I left the death tent and made my way back to the stable. Rest in peace, Philip Seymour Makemore. Join us next time for the epic conclusion of our dive into the intense and thought-provoking world of horse racing. I've been Brian TBD with No Sports, only on WRYAT, New Orleans Pirate Radio. See you next time, team.
This is WRYAT New Orleans Radio. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.